Welcome back to another episode of What Else Could Go Wrong with My Zorki series. So, I've got the Zorki 1, it was finished, as in literally finished, adjusted, ready to um, put the test roll inside, obviously, when something happened. And this is what happened. So, right now the camera is released. The little selector is on advance and it winds forever and ever and ever. But if I turn it upside down, it actually winds the shutter. If I turn it right side up, it goes forever. And that was a bit weird at first. I really didn't understand what was going on, so I decided to obviously take it apart again and see what's going on. So, body shell off, because that's pretty much all you need to do to diagnose most of the problems with these cameras. And I realized that this little guy can move up and down like this. Obviously, when the camera is right side up, this gear goes down under the influence of the gravity. When you put it upside down, it will go up because of the gravity. This is the way it should sit normally, and when you release the shutter, it should go down. Now, what happened? Right now, it's pretty obvious for me what happened, but I will actually take it apart further and show you what happened. And while I'm taking it apart, I will try to explain. So that little gear is kept in position, so it's attached to its shaft by means of a little piece of wire. In later cameras like the Zorki 4, or even in cameras like the Fed 2, actually I'm not really sure about the Fed 2, maybe in some variants of the Fed, they've replaced that little wire with a circlip, which obviously is the better option. Now I need to unscrew these lenses, and apparently I really tightened them down. Alright, so in later variants they replaced that wire with a circlip, which is a lot easier to take out, a lot easier to put back, and there's very little risk of breaking them, obviously if you don't force them. While the little wire, unfortunately I won't be able to show you because it's already broken, otherwise the problem would not exist. So the little wire is like something like this. So it's something like this. It's a loop that goes through a hole in that little gear, and the ends of the loop are afterwards bent like this. Now, to take out the wire loop, so you can remove the gear, clean it and lubricate it and so on, you need to straighten the ends, take it out forcefully, and then kind of after that you need to manage to put it back inside the hole and rebend the ends. And obviously when you do that, there is a big chance of it breaking, because it's just a little piece of steel wire probably, so it won't be too excited to be bent a lot. Come on, come on. Okay. All right, so three more screws and I can remove this top plate. All right. Okay, and now I need to remove this because otherwise it will be more difficult to get the curtain shafts back in position. And I also need to remove the second curtain latch. Now, the basic idea is that in order to get to that gear, you need to actually remove the shutter crate. So, yeah. Yeah, but after a while, it's pretty straightforward. A good number of screws, but nothing difficult or very time consuming. Here it is, the little screw. That little screw is not present in all the control disc. This is the shutter control disc, and not all control discs have it. Some don't have that screw at all. Some have like a rivet pin, and the only reason for that little screw to be there is to stop you from going from 1/500th of a second to B. Why is that important? I have no idea. Initially, I actually considered leaving it off so I could go from B to 1/500th, but then I thought about it and I decided to put it back because, well, as we all know, the Soviets really tried to cut corners and cut on production costs, so one extra screw, even a small one like that one, certainly added up to the costs. So my intuition, my logic says that it must have had a purpose. Therefore, I will just leave it where I found it. And three more screws and I am done. This is one. Two and three. Okay, shutter crate out. And this is the culprit. And now, if I am correct, I can take it out like this. Which means that my little wire is gone altogether. So since it's gone, I should be able to find it somewhere. And sure enough, Here is one little piece out of that wire. And where is the rest of it? Well, it's not here. I will blow some compressed air. And I will just assume that it somehow fell off and I didn't notice it. Alright, so now I need to think of a replacement for that little wire. So basically, where is my, here it is. Basically you need something that goes through this hole from one end to the other end being on the other side, that will remain in place no matter how much this gear spins and no matter how much vibrations the entire shaft is subjected to. I will need to improvise something. Okay, I'm not really sure what I'm going to use. Something like this spring, I think should be the right size. Yeah, it goes through. But I think I should use something that's not steel, so something that I can bend and it will retain its shape. All right, I will add another small part on this video just to show you what I came up with. Now this is an issue that is probably very rare, so it never happened to me before out of dozens or how many cameras I did already, but yeah, it can happen. Alright, see you soon. Alright, so I found these two breadboard cables. This one has like a solid round end and that seems pretty stiff, while the other one has an end that looks like a very small hollow tube that's kind of sectioned on one side, and I think this one is more bendable. I will try this one first because this cable already has a snipped end. Okay, and let me see. Yeah, I think this one is the right one. tricky part is getting the wire or whatever you are using to go all the way through the other end, because the little shims have the tendency to flip up from one side, and you kind of need to keep them down while pushing this wire, and it's still not there. Okay. All right. Okay, I got my little pliers. All right, and now I am going to try to bend the ends in such a way that it cannot get out. So all right, so one end goes to the right, the other end goes to the left, so it's like an S shape. It has no way of getting out of here, and it's probably single use, so next time somebody is going to try to take it apart, it will certainly break, but it's okay, it should last a good couple of years. Okay, so this was kind of my solution to this problem, and now it's time to get everything back and make sure everything actually works. Alright, and that's it. It's back together. The only thing that still eludes me is this little screw that should go here, but for some reason it's not biting into the threads. I'll need to investigate it further. Yeah, but everything else works fine now. Upside down, right side up. So problem fixed. Now, as a final word of advice, when putting back this top plate, keep in mind that the manufacturing accuracy is so-so in these Russian cameras. So if by mistake you place the top plate too much to the left of the camera, these screws will fit, this screw will fit, these two eyepieces might fit, but you might not be able to fit these two. So you kind of have to center the holes underneath these two eyepieces. What did I say? That you need to center? Yeah, you need to center the holes in the top plate with the actual threaded holes in the rangefinder assembly. Otherwise, if the edge of the hole in the top plate is too flush to the threaded part underneath it, you won't be able to thread correctly the eyepieces. I mean this one and the shallow prism that allows you to adjust the vertical rangefinder here. Okay, so that's about it. In case anybody ever has a similar issue, this is one way of fixing it. You can use pretty much anything that has the right diameter. It should be something strong enough to keep its shape and also bendable. Alright, I will see you next time.